What's good, everybody? Nilak the Prophet here. This is the 10th video blog on the Nilak Music channel. And I had to shut off the last time. I already started one, but my card was full, so I had to delete some videos and bring it back up. So I'm trying to think about what I had already said. One of the things was just talking about what's been going on for those of you that haven't been with the channel for since the beginning of this year. Right now, and we're 4 months in, but I'm still kind of in the process of kind of coming out of this hiatus that I had last year from May up until January of this year, where I just basically didn't do anything. I talked about that in the last video. I'm not going to really talk about that a whole lot in this one. Because I'll just be kind of going on and on about the same situation. But yeah, I wouldn't say I wasn't doing anything, but media wise and as far as putting stuff online, there wasn't really anything out there. And so yeah, if you want to know more about that whole situation, I recommend you go check out the 9th video vlog, which is the one before this, which I gotta take the part 1 off the title because I recorded a part 2, but I figured after watching the first one and uploading the first one, I was like, man, I said a whole lot in that one, and the second one really didn't say anything that I hadn't said in that one. So I figured, man, it's not worth it, going back through the whole uploading process again for the second part when it's really about the same as the first. One thing different about this one than that one is I'm not using 2 cameras. Like I said in that one, I did it simply just so I could say I had to and kind of showcase the kind of stuff I could do. But it's really not worth the hustle. So I used it in that one, but I'm not going to use it in this one. One is fine, and so yeah, kicking it back old school. Well, let me go and update on one of the biggest things going on right now, and that is the Outcast. Y'all be happy to know it's moving really, really well. It's kind of, here's the thing about the process. It's tough because as much as I want it to be done, I also don't want to go overkill. I don't want to work too quickly, trying to do too much. So I'm right now I'm kind of working around a song every 2 weeks, which as the release date draws nearer, which is in June 8th. Which is 2 months away, less than that even. As that date is coming to closer, I'm probably gonna start working a little more hasty. But the thing I'm really trying to do right now is write, because I have a lot of instrumentals to work with. So much so that I had to get rid of a lot of them because, man, it's just. You have the desire to go above and beyond, but sometimes you don't have to, And here's the problem with this project, and it's been the same with all the other ones I've worked on. Whenever you work on a project for too long, it sucks because you'll make five to 10 or 15 beats. For each stage of the Outcast, each stage of the project. So for the first stage of the Outcast, coming right out of the Enemy Inside, I had 5 beats already finished and they were nice. One of which I'm actually still using. I can't talk about which one it is, but it's a tight beat. The song is tight. I can say this is a collaboration and it's legit. And I think y'all like it. I think I'm gonna release it as a single next month. So be on the lookout for that. I would love to make a music video for it, but we'll see. Anyway, back on the same train of thought. When you make a lot of beats, you make a lot of stuff it takes a long time. You'll make a bunch of whatever the situation may be, a bunch of concepts or ideas, and as time progresses and your thoughts on this whole project changes, you have a hard time because you want to make new stuff, but you also don't want to get rid of the stuff you already did because you did put effort into it. So a lot of the beats that I made early on, I can't use them now because I'm not there anymore, production wise and just emotionally and musically, honestly, artistry wise, because there are things I've heard, different styles of music I've heard now that have really affected the sound that I'm making on this record, that I didn't have that kind of perspective or aim or vibe in those beats before. So I try to pull them in because, you know, I made them, and I made them like, you know, I don't regret making them. They're legit. But because the sound is so different now, I really can't do that. And it's tough, because one of the hardest things to do is throw away beats that are good. And I have a lot of beats like that right now. Even some that didn't make it on the Enemy Inside, which my plan was to release a instrumental album of the Enemy Inside. I'm not sure about that anymore for two reasons. One, I'm just thinking like, with all the focus on the Outcast, I really don't want to put out something like really quickly right before the release, whereas like where people won't even really hear about it or know. And then also with the very little attention that the Enemy Inside got, I really don't think it's very necessary to try to, you know, put out something like that. If it got more attention like The Storm did, The Storm got a lot of attention, surprisingly, because I really promoted that thing. But, you know, for something like that, that would be more acceptable and reasonable, but this is not. So I've held on to it. I might put it out someday, maybe, I don't know. It all depends. I listen to it, I love it. It's all the beats from the Enemy Inside, including the ones that didn't make it, so it's a bundle. 17 beats, all instrumentals, no intros, no interludes or anything like that. It's all just beats, straight up beats, and it's legit. And it was fun, man, going back through those beats, man, because when I made it, I had to go back and like find the beats, export them at a higher bit rate so that they were higher quality sounding, because at that point I wasn't really making it like with the best quality as I could have. So that was cool, and that was nice. And I still have it. I might put it out, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's that. And so, you know, that's the dilemma with that whole situation with the Outcast. But moving on, man, it's the project. I'm really happy, man, because the project's coming together very well. One of the things I really want to work on, though, in the coming songs, because there's still about 5 or 6 that need to be finished. I really wanted to like make a couple songs that identify exactly what the thesis statement of the Outcast is, because every album needs to have like a song or a collection of songs that explicitly identify exactly what the album's theme is. And I mean, sometimes artists do this. They use a broad amount of concepts and song ideas to emphasize the thesis of their album, but they don't do it explicitly, they do it implicitly. So and there are dozens of examples. I can't really think of any off the top of my head, but you know, really good albums that the message is clear, but it's not clear like they have to throw it at you every time you hear a song or something. It's just you hear the music and you feel it in the instrumentals, you hear it in the lyrics, even though it's not explicitly given. You hear the different fragments of the thesis, you know, scattered throughout the album. And I kind of want this to be the same way. And then another thing is and this is kind of already developing, I want a good conclusion. Like songs that, you know, voice kind of what I want people to walk away from the record with. So that's a serious part of the record for me, because and y'all will hear it then. I can't really talk about that right now, but just know that, you know, God's been doing a lot in my life recently. I've just been praying through a lot of decisions to make and different situations, and you know, and so a lot of it is kind of influenced what I'm thinking towards in the future, but I'll just leave it at that. You'll hear more about that hopefully through the album and the vlogs that will come up until the release. But I'm really excited, man, because it's crazy, because in the past year there's been a whole lot of activity I've had, you know, musically, a lot of different opportunities I've had to perform places, and I'm sorry for not uploading a lot of those performances. Part of the reason why I haven't felt so, um, like inclined to upload it is because I feel like it's just worship, and sometimes worship needs to be unplugged. Sometimes worship shouldn't be so um, systematic, and we need to see it. You need to just make sure. That's why I have a hard time with like I did a performance once at this huge church in Little Rock. I mean huge, it's like the size of a mall. And it was awesome. Their worship was good. The youth center was awesome. The whole facility of the church was amazing. But I don't know. I felt like the worship and just the service altogether was really just. It was so routine, and well, not routine, but like it was such a procedure, and everything has to be right. We had like all these precautions and things. Well, not precautions, but just different things I was like not used to. Because I love it when worship can just be free. And so all that's to say, man, that's probably one of the reasons why I haven't put a lot of them out. I did put the Lecrae one out though when we did boasting at my church. That one's online, and that was cool. I enjoyed that. I kind of failed with the singing. I got nervous, but yeah. Anyway, I kind of digressed. But basically, what I was saying is, man, it's just a lot of opportunities has been coming around, and because of that, a lot of people have been, there's been an actual desire from a lot of people for an album. And they've heard, and I've put out, plenty of times, I'm working on the Outcast, and they're like, man, when's that album coming out? And so, a lot of that's kind of kept me going, because I want to give them something, and I want to do it now, man. I'm sick and tired of pushing it down the road and battling between whether or not it needs to happen or it should happen, or if I'm going to do it or not. Because this has been a really hard album to make. I think, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the artists that do sophomore records have the same kind of situation. It's tough, but what I'm hoping is that it kind of goes the way that the Marshall Mathers LP went for Eminem, or another artist that had a similar. But just like where, the previous record, Enemy Inside was great in my eyes, and what people said, they really enjoyed it, but it's always good when, you can get another album out that goes beyond that record, or takes what that record did and emphasizes it, or just corrects some of the mistakes made, or just broadens it to a whole nother perspective and understanding. So I'm really trying to work on that with this record too. And another thing is just incorporating my experiences in this record. So people that listen to it understand me, they understand what I do, why I do what I do, and man, just where I'm going in life and how I'm doing, what God's been placing on my heart. And so, and music's always been that way for me, man. It's just, cause I'm a quiet person, and so music is kind of like my journal, my way to express myself and explain to people who I am and what I love. So, for sure. Oh man, I still haven't talked about a lot. I'll talk about it in the next one. But there's still a lot going on that I kind of want to talk about. The thing is, I feel kind of limited because as much as I want to talk about things, I also got to keep in mind that a lot of the things I'm talking about in these vlogs is what I'm talking about in the album as well. So I kind of have to, keep a lot of it under, away from people's, not away from people's knowledge, but kind of keep it, locked away until people can hear the record, because it's gonna be on there for sure. But yeah, I'm glad to close it out, man. I'm getting tired. I need to go to bed. It's been a long week, and I'm just ready. I'm ready for summer, dude. I really am. It's getting to that point. Spring fever's really kicking in, and I'm ready to, get to summer. But yeah. So yeah, man. I really wish I was doing more social media wise, but I haven't really been. So I would say connect with me through Facebook and Twitter and all that. I mean, you can. It's not that I'm not gonna answer you. It's just A lot of people that are used to like, artists that connect a whole lot through social media won't be very satisfied with what I do because I'm not a big social media person, and I don't really keep people informed as much as I probably should. So yeah, um, if I was one thing I can ask for, man, just be prayer. Forget support and all that. I appreciate all of that, man, but just prayer is probably the biggest thing I could use right about now. Because seasons are changing, things are happening, and a lot's going on, man. It's a different year, and I feel like God's kind of given me the opportunity to kind of learn from what happened last year and all that, went through last year, and allow me to kind of, see what He wants to say and what He wants me to do this year, and in the coming years as well. So I'm just really pumped, man, but I'm also cautious and trying to stay, connected to Him and always connected to the source, man, because it's so easy to get lost, especially when you're being used, because the enemy is just not cool with that. So yeah, prayer, man, is really the biggest thing I could ask for right now. And I'm going long, so I think I'm gonna close it out. But yeah, man, thanks again, guys, and I hope you guys have a good week and a good rest of the month.